One of the things that I called you before was the smiler, right? Because a lot of people know you by your smile.
Yes.
As being very happy and positive. But what I want to ask you is, on a personal level, being known as the person that's always happy, right? Being known as the person who smiles a lot, who is always positive. How was that played a part in your development? Because to be known for something, but not always to feel that way, can be quite a daunting and not somewhat maybe it's traumatic. I don't know. I want to ask your opinion on that. So being known as a happy person all the time, how has that kind of played a part?
Yeah, well, I can't remember. I think I've always been smiley, even as like a baby. I've always been like quite a smiley sort of baby, and now nearly 36. And I remember, especially now, there's a lot of pressure because I used to be so hard. I mean, sometimes I am quite hard on myself still, but I used to be extremely hard on myself because if I was having an off day, if I had any, like, to me at the time, unwanted feelings where I felt a bit sad or whatever, I automatically thought, I can't show that because that's not me. If anyone sees the real me, they're going to be put off me. That's initially what the voices in my head said. And I would often, like, felt like I was putting on a mask. I'd be like, yeah. And then really inside at the time, I might feel like I was dying inside of it. That sounds quite dramatic, but just sometimes when the darker times when I was going through a lot, I didn't feel good. So now I am, again going back to the word accepting, I am more accepting that and someone said to me, it was a couple of years ago, it was actually when I was at the opticians, he came up to me and he was like, God, he said, I see you on your videos and everything like that, and he's like, Christ, are you like just happy all the time? Like some people sound generally, I think, almost get frustrated, and I think
offended by your happiness.
And I think some people do potentially. I've had people unfollow me and things like that because maybe this is another topic, being too much, and it's true. When I do my lives, I usually come from a place of very high energy because I get so excited about them and everything like that, and I love to, because I'm known for my energy as well, so which is true, and it's me being me. However, the time, so I told this man at the time, I said, no, absolutely not. I said, it's my default to be a sort of happy, smiling person, but I said, sometimes I feel like absolute shit. And that's how it is, and I am honest, and I do admit that, but it's about, as I talked about, being able to bounce back. And again, this is still like something I'm working on, is just allowing my feelings and accepting them, and also just thinking tomorrow's a new day. So feel how you feel, do whatever you need to soothe, self-soothe or anything, and then crack on the next day.
100%.
So my natural default most of the time, yes, I'm smiling and happy, but definitely not happy all the time.
Fair. 2 cents. Ems, could you move that along a bit, because I'm getting blinded by the sun. Just to pause the podcast for 2 seconds, I'm getting like full on blinded by this. Oh, I can see now again.
I can see.
Oh my god, that's so good. I bet on the camera it looks great as well, and I can actually see again. Because you were just a little bit of like speckled blur in the distance there. But you're 100% right though. When people see you as something, you become this almost like. So for me, it was always obviously the motivational content. People would meet me and expect me to be the most happy, friendly, motivational person, and almost expect me to just burst out into a full-on speech every time they met me. And it's like, no, I drag myself out of bed sometimes. I don't want to get up. I don't always want to be motivational. Sometimes I want to listen to death metal or, something emo, you know what I mean? And it's like My Chemical Romance. Sometimes I want to listen. I don't listen to just, Train or, the 1975 something. I don't listen to this happy music all the time. Like, I'm not always motivational.
No,
I'm not always motivated, and people don't seem to understand that. They see you as what, like, especially when you've got an online presence. That's what people see you as. And when you break that, it's like, well, like they kind of lose a little bit of like, they stop seeing you as Emma Foley, the happy person, or Adam Proud, the motivational speaker. They see you as Emma or Adam.
That's it. And I think I struggle with this because I actually, as a child, I used to be incredibly quiet. And again, a lot of people don't believe me now because obviously I can be quite out there, even, like the feel, when I was going around interviewing people and I could get up and talk in front of people, like no worries. But I still have a very quiet side of me. So sometimes I'm very quiet, and I know a lot of friends, and this used to like sort of trigger me quite a lot. When I'd be having a quiet moment, my friends would be like, "Oh God, what's wrong with you? Are you okay?"
Oh, I get that all the time.
So that would really trigger me, and I don't think I was aware of how often I went there, because sometimes I'm just reflecting, or sometimes I just don't want to talk very much.
Yeah.
But friends like would also, so I used to take that as a negative and think, oh no, like they're not seeing me as my high vibe, and I thought, you don't have to be like that all the time. You can be both of you. So it's like, not to say I've got a split personality, but just there's two sides. I've got my sort of high energy and I've got my soft side. Hence why when I got into my guided meditations, I think that went really well, because that's that side of me.
But some people go, the front becomes too much. Like, obviously everyone, social media is fake. We all know this. Like, everyone puts on a front. Like, if you meet me in person compared to when I'm online, I'm a little bit of a different person. I'm not completely different, but I'm different enough that it's like, ooh. But it's like everyone has a front that they put on. It's just to what extent and how often they put it on. And I think for me as well, it's been a big thing that I've tried to overcome, of being the motivational guy all the time. Like, obviously I haven't made motivational content for a while. Actually, I do the podcast now. That's pretty much my thing, because I wanted to move away from just being, you know, shouting at the camera, live your life this way, do this, and selling feelings. I wanted to get people on and talk to people and spread content that was actually useful to people, that actually inspired people a little bit more than just being like, well, you're not drinking 2.2 litres of water a day, you are a piece of shit, you need to, do you know what I mean? And I was very into the aggressive self-help at first. Like, I was very much into like fuck your feelings and stuff. I still kind of am, but I'm not as aggressive anymore. But I've obviously been known as the motivational guy. But have you ever had something that you've said, I can't imagine it, but I'm gonna ask it anyway, like taken out of context, like someone's taken what you've said and kind of left you a negative comment, or sent you a message being like, I don't agree with this? Or have you ever had any backlash for the stuff you've said?
So when I used to do my dancing lives, when I used to do, it used to be quite often on a Saturday before I went to work, and I'd like put the music on and dance.
I remember. And
one of the main reasons I don't do that as much anymore is because Facebook goes crazy about it, and like Warner Brothers has
claimed your music.
So it's just really annoying, because unless you manage to get the right sort of amount of talking over the music, so they can't tell that you're using someone else's song. So anyway, one of my friends had shared my live onto her page, and someone on her friends list was like, well, she's really annoying, or something along those lines.
How does that make you feel?
So again, something I've worked on is that, especially when I was a bit younger, is that I was a people pleaser, and I try so hard. I wanted to be liked. So there's that. I'd be lying if I said in me.
We all want to be liked.
Yeah. So I'd be completely calling bullshit. I was like, oh no, I don't get bothered at all. So I think that was my first sort of incident where I was a bit like. So it didn't obviously feel good, because he'd gone off. He did write a whole paragraph about it. Oh, she's this and that.
Wow. So it wasn't just you're so annoying. It was a whole.
He wrote a paragraph. It wasn't like completely nasty, but clearly I'd irritated him quite a lot, and I just thought literally all I'm doing is to try and, I was being a bit daft and, being a bit silly, and so I thought, ooh. So I just thought, well, and I just had to keep saying to myself, repeat, you're not for everyone, and at the end of the day, going back to the power of one, if at least. Because some people used to love them, and they used to be like, oh, thank you. I used to get private messages saying, you are bonkers, like, you are crackers. Like, because they like that element, because it was just being like, oh, look at her, bless her. She's like dancing her socks off on a Saturday morning while I'm in bed. So. But
the only way you trigger people are really, like, know what, you're not supposed to be liked by everyone, and you're not supposed to like everyone. No. It's just one of those things. Like, but we all have that need to want to be liked, because, we come from tribes, we're supposed to be like, you would be kicked out if you weren't liked, etc., etc. But now it's like we have this over glorified sense of importance as well. I think us who make content, especially, because we get a little bit of attention, we get a little bit of likes, a little bit of a following, and we always think that we're a little bit more important to the world than we actually are and stuff. But it's like, we're just people who make videos. Like, you're just a woman who helps people get fit, who changes their mindset and dances on camera. I'm just a man who talks shit on a podcast for an hour and a half, and then goes home and plays Xbox. Like, we're not that important in the world, but everyone feels like their comment is valid. Now, I actually had one it's funny. He messaged me out of the blue randomly. He was like, "Oh, I've seen your videos. Like, I just need a bit of help with my mindset and stuff." And I was like, "Okay, cool. What do you need, man? Like, let's talk." Like, I was all up for it. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I just don't feel very confident, very attractive." I was like, "Okay, give advice." A few back and forth, and he went, "Oh, I see you know." I'm not going to name names. Let's call her Anna, right?
Yeah.
Because we had a conversation about someone called Anna earlier. Let's call her Anna, right? So, "Oh, I see you know Anna." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I used to work with her." And I was like, "Oh, are you friends?" He was like, "Well, kind of. Like, I've always been in love with her," kind of thing. And I was like, "Oh, cool, whatever." And then he started being really weird, right? And he was like, "Could you help me like get with her?" And I was like, "That's not really my area. Like, that's something that you kind of need to work on yourself. You know what I mean? I'm not getting involved in. I'm not going to be fucking playing Cupid." And because I refused to help him, he started sharing everything that I posted to his personal page, calling me a nonce and a paedophile and a rapist. Just literally just this barrage of just like things, and like saying that just all this horrible stuff. And I didn't actually see it. It was a friend of mine who sent me a screenshot saying, "Have you seen what you've been tagged in?" And it was just like, bro, like, what the fuck? Like, people are just mental. There's a few people that are just fucking mental. And it's like, I don't feel shame saying that. Like, some people are just batshit crazy. Like, some people get in the comment section just because they're in pain. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I get you're in pain. I get it, but you don't need to bring someone else down. People just love to see people get their come up and sort of to bring someone down, or, you know, and it's like, I understand that you're in pain. I understand that you're in pain. And you clearly don't like your life. But get the fuck off my Facebook page, because it's not where you're supposed to be. You can ask me for help, and I will help you, or I'll send you to the right place. But if you just want to, like, there was, do you know Paul Mort? Do you know the name Paul Mort? So he's quite a big speaker. He's just from around the corner as well. And there was a video he made that went viral because he was suicidal back in, I think it was like 2014 or something. And he made a video talking about it and how he wanted to jump off this cliff and the end of Shields and stuff. And he shared it again. And someone in the comments basically said it's a shame that you didn't do it, or something to that extent. And it was like, he screenshotted that, Paul screenshotted that, named and shamed the guy, because he said, like, if people still get away with this level of abuse, like, he says, I can take it, but someone else, if you comment that on someone else, someone might not be able to handle that. And it was like, people need held accountable for their abusive comments for the most part. Like, I don't agree with cancelling people just for saying something wrong, but if you're telling someone to commit suicide or something like that, that's when it blurs the line between, okay, you should probably not do that. It's not okay. But I'm guessing you haven't had anyone say, "Emma, you should fucking get a knife." Do you know what I mean? No one's ever said that to you.
Luckily.
Touch wood.